Tennessee Tech head coach Bobby Wilder. The team 1-0 in association play now, a big win against Tennessee State this past weekend at home. They're going to go on the road. They're going to play Gardner Webb. So, Coach, just some thoughts first about your team and its win over TSU, which was your first as the Golden Eagles head coach.
Yeah, that was a tough day for tough men. It was 3.5 hours, hot, humid. It was over 100 on the turf. And compliments to Coach George and his team, our players. I mean, they battled. That was a physical battle for 3.5 hours. Kids were dehydrated, cramping up. All of them, both sides, trying to get back in the game. So my compliments to Coach George, Tennessee State. Very proud of our football team. There's a process in learning how to win. We were ahead 14-0 in this game, and we had some adversity that we didn't handle very well. Part of that was Tennessee State learning how to win football games, but so important, Kyle, to get this first win coming off two FBS losses, to get the first win, get it at home, and be 1-0 in the league.
I'm going to ask you a little bit more specific about the game in a second, but this was your first win at Tennessee Tech. Obviously, you have wins at Old Dominion. You've had wins. What's it mean to get that first win? You'll always remember what it was like at Tech.
Well, it was significant from the standpoint of Mark Wilson, our athletic director, President Oldham, came in the locker room after him. I didn't know they were going to be there in the locker room, and presented me with a game ball, and having the opportunity to share that with the players and the coaches. It's been 11 months that I've been here, and it's been a lot of hard work together, but significant from the standpoint of the opportunity to share that with the players and the coaches.
So I want to ask you about your atmosphere. So obviously there's some construction going on at your stadium that got referenced to Scott Van Pelt, but your fans really showed up, filled that one side. So you only have half the stadium this year, but what was the atmosphere like with that construction underway?
Yeah, based on Scott Van Pelt and Bad Beats talking about our rubble, the west side being down, there's cranes over there. They're trying to get all the concrete and steel out. So he said rubble. So we just called it the rumble in the rubble. That's what that game was. It's progress is the best way to describe it, Kyle. It's hard on visiting teams. It's hard to come in here. The atmosphere, the one side of the stadium behind the visiting team is just a chain link fence, and then all this construction behind you, but we're embracing it. That was a hard day for the fans. I mean, like I said, it was over 100 in terms of heat index heat on the turf. So hot in the stands. The sun was right on the east side, but it looked to me like there were 7,000 or 8,000 people there. Cleared out a little bit at halftime because there were some people that had some issues with the heat, which I completely understand. Felt good to be at home. As you know, we haven't been at home. We were at Middle at Georgia, so it was really good to be at home, and very appreciative and grateful to the fans, the band, our dance, our cheer. Everybody really tried to contribute as best they could.
You referenced it earlier. You're up, and then they helped. They came back, but then you made the big plays down the stretch, the field goal, the interception, pick six. Just talk about that resiliency of your team and to put the game away.
Yeah, a lot of credit to Coach George, his team. They're down. We were up 14-0 quick, and the yardage was somewhere around 180 on our side, maybe 20 on theirs, and then they made the play. They got the pick six. They turned the game around. It's 14-14 at half. And I had a conversation with everybody, our players and coaches, about who do you want to be? Who do you want to be as a program? Adversity defines your character. I don't care if it's life, school, football. You never really find out who you are until you get hit with adversity. Are you a person of character? Can you overcome? And our guys accepted that challenge. They battled in the second half. The third quarter, Kyle, turned into field position football. And I'll give you an example. We got the ball first on our -25. We punted back and forth with Tennessee State. By the fifth possession of the third quarter, we had the ball on their 45-yard line. We gained 35 yards with protecting the ball offense, playing good defense, and moving it with punt and punt return. That's winning football, and that got us the field goal. And then the Ty Moss interception at the end of the game, I feel like was attributed to how relentless we were against their quarterback. 7 sacks in the game by 7 different players. And rarely do you see 7 different players involved in sacks. That's how relentless we were on defense. And Ty Moss, that sack was contributed to pressure. He made a phenomenal play, tipped it to himself, and we end up outscoring them 10-0 in the second half with not turning the ball over, field position, relentless defense. And the last thing I'll say, Kyle, is that that's how we want people to look at Tennessee Tech football. Those guys are relentless in all 3 phases. They attack the line of scrimmage. They play hard in all 3 phases. That's the ultimate compliment that Tennessee Tech football can receive from anybody, is those guys are relentless.
Let's turn our attention to your opponent in Gardner Webb. They got their first win in the season. They played 2 FBS opponents this year, so some similarities. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, very, very similar. They have one more game than we do. They didn't have the bye, but you mentioned the 2 FBS, similar to us. Very impressed with Coach Reisert. Studied him going back to Tiffin. The success he's had. He played quarterback in college. He was successful. So generally, quarterbacks that are head coaches have a good plan. Their teams resemble their attitude, their personality. So very impressed with Coach, his staff. You can see their players like us. You lose a couple FBS games and they lost close. What impressed me is they go to James Madison and lose 13-6 with a shot to win. JMU just beat North Carolina 70-50. So that tells me what I need to know about Gardner Webb. They were up at Charlotte. They had a shot to win that game and then just have a dominant performance this past week. They're at home. It's tough to win in any league on the road. They're the defending champions. As I told our team, our staff, until somebody knocks off Gardner Webb, they're the defending league champs. It doesn't matter. There's a new staff, a lot of new players. Gardner Webb is the defending league champs. They're opening their league at home against us. So we're going to have to show up with the right mindset to play what I think is a very good football team.
Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck on that road trip this weekend, and then we'll talk to you again this time next week.
Kyle, at some point, we got to get you out here for the Rumble in the Rubble.
I will make an appearance for sure. I'm going to go find that clip later and watch it too.
All right, buddy. Good to talk to you. Have a good day.